Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Broadband Universe podcast. Broadband Universe brought to you by Vitruvi, the end-to-end GIS-based construction management platform. Build faster, reduce costs, and improve quality. Also by Lit Communities. Light up your community. You deserve better internet. Well, it is a pleasure to welcome today's guest, Chief Marketing Officer of Clearfield, Mr. Kevin Morgan. Kevin, welcome.
Thank you, Craig. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. There is so much going on with Clearfield of late. It seems as though every time I turn around, look at LinkedIn, at Twitter, there's another announcement going on. But before we get into some of the new news, for those that aren't familiar with all that Clearfield has done over the years in the industry, give us that 30,000-foot overview, if you would.
Yeah, our core competency is fiber connectivity. And so we've been in the passive fiber connectivity business for years. We founded in 2008. Not the best of times to form a company, but it was a great time to survive. And we formed as a really great time, really looking back. We had a vision to be able to connect all America for fiber connectivity, and so our history, we now have been growing very well in the last few years. I think we announced 140 million last year in revenue, and that was up from 92 million the year before. So this has been a pretty steep growth curve. We sell to over 700 companies, including independent telcos, larger phone companies, tier 2, tier 3, tier 1s. We also have cable MSOs that we sell to as well. A number of international accounts in Canada, Mexico, and Latin America, Caribbean. We also have some very interesting products. One of the things that is interesting to me about Clearfield is the thought of fiber optic deployments in the past, for me as a technologist, have been about, okay, speed. What can we do with all this speed that's out there, and how we're going to process, and what are the apps and things like that. But when you get down to it, unless you have the connection, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really super important. And this company, Clearfield, has done a very good job to understand from the real world technician point of view, what's needed in order to make a reliable, a dependable connection, do it easy, require the least amount of training, and have some clever product design so that you can really advance your processes to reduce the amount of time that it takes to pass the homes and connect the homes.
Those are very important things when you talk about reliability, the speed, the ease of utilizing those solutions, and it's something that we have seen develop so much over the years. And you talked a moment ago about all the markets that you're in, and I think that a recent announcement from just earlier this week, as we are visiting today, sort of expands that footprint, perhaps a relationship that has existed with Clearfield and a Finnish company for the last decade now will bring a new chapter in the Clearfield story, and that is Nestor Cables Oy. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the acquisition of Nestor is a really significant milestone for Clearfield. They've been a wonderful company to work with, and over the last 10 years, we've been working with them. We're very thrilled to have them on our team. They have a focus providing a lot of reliable and flexible products for us in terms of our fiber optic developments and cables. Our Field Shield product line is part of that. But we've been working with them many years ago. Their employees, their deep fiber optical experience with manufacturing, and they've been around, I think, since 2007 or so. So about the same time we formed, and it just happened to be a really good supplier for us. And they continue to. They're based out of Finland. They also have some manufacturing there and in another country as well in Europe. So we're just super excited to bring them on board as part of our springboard in the next level of connectivity.
Obviously, this will enhance the footprint that Clearfield has with respect to Europe, but how much will it add to the product line, if you will, with that new
Yeah,
acquisition?
that's a great question. We've got, of course, the fiber optic cables, and they also have in their portfolio of products. They have not only fiber optic cables but connectivity accessories, some instrumentation, and the Nestor Optimus microduct product family. In Europe, we find they deploy fiber a little differently than here in the U.S. Here in the U.S. and North America, there's predominantly buried fiber um, drop. That's typical. We use flat drop and many other types of fiber optic connectivity. In Europe, it's very popular to use blown fiber through microduct, and so they have a number of options that allow that type of deployment that we don't have. So it's really exciting to get access to that.
Excellent. So glad to have heard this great news. We'll be anxious to see how that develops in the coming years. Also, when we talk about the platform that Clearfield brings to market, there is a Fastpass fiber distribution system that is part and parcel of what is making a big difference for a lot of folks right now, especially with all that's going
Yeah.
on. Give us an overview
Well,
there.
the fast pass approach from Clearfield, we announced that, and it's really all about time. It's about doubling the rate of homes passed, and the way we're doing that is using in cassette splicing within our fiber distribution hub cabinets. And so our particular line of FDH or fiber distribution hub cabinets can scale. We have a 96 port. We have, I think the most popular is 288 and 432, but we can go on up to 1152. These cabinets typically have been shipped in the legacy traditional way out to the job site with a fiber optic tail. The tail is spliced in at the factory, and then in the field, that tail gets spliced into the existing feeder fibers coming from the central office, so that you can then connect everything up. Well, in order to do that, typically that tail goes into a vault and connects to a splice case. We found a way. We've been having this capability for years, where you can eliminate the splice case in the vault and that tail, so that you can just bring the feeder fiber cables directly into the cassette that's in our fiber distribution hub cabinets. It eliminates that cost, but more importantly, this is where the aha moment came for us. It's not about just the cost element that you're eliminating; it's the time, because you don't have to go and prep and open up the splice case and do all the prep work for the F1 and the F2 cables. You can eliminate that time, and by doing that, we're seeing, and we've done installation time studies comparing. We can definitely double the rate of cabinets placed within the same time period, which basically for a service provider means that I can place two cabinets in the same crew that I could have done one in the same time frame. So as we see these demands coming from the funding mechanisms that are prevalent today from the federal government, all of them has, they're great. They're funding fiber deployment, but they all have strings attached. Many of the strings
Yeah.
attached are really the milestones you have to hit, and you have to have 20%, 40%, 60, 80, 100% over a 5-year period, typically. Now, we don't know exactly how the rules are going to play out for this latest round of the BEAD program, the Broadband Access, Equity and Deployment Program, as part of the Infrastructure and Jobs Act that came out recently. But generally, you're going to have some milestones you have to hit. You have to have shovel-ready products type thing,
Yep.
projects. And so if you can pass these homes faster and double your rate of deployment, you're staying ahead. You don't get the penalties that come associated with, okay, if you don't hit it, I'm fining you. You're saving money. So
Well, and what you just described, Kevin, is a game changer for providers because, to your point, with respect to all the expansion that is in the offing right now, there's a challenge with
Right.
manpower. Guys are looking everywhere for people that they can put in the field immediately. And if you can double the productivity of your team, you are really making it a much easier process. And I'm curious what kind of feedback you're getting from many of the folks that Clearfield works with on, employing and
Yeah.
implementing this
So
approach.
I have to tell you, like I said, we've had this process available for many years, but there's a entrenched, well-established, um, I guess, inertia that's in the industry
Right.
that you can't move it. It's hard to move. There's a lot of reasons people push back on this as a new approach. Number one, if I'm the splice case manufacturer or the vault manufacturers, I don't like this at all. I mean, it's taking my business. If I'm an engineering firm and I've been specking out these types of installations for years and it's worked, I don't want to go away from it. I need to have, you need to
Mm-hmm.
show me and prove it to me. If I'm the splicing technician, I have fewer splices, but you can do more because you're able to double, and the demand is there. I mean, the demand is absolutely there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons that people push back on this as a concept, but as we've just announced it as the measure of time importance, we've had some adoption from some larger tier two companies, and all of these companies now, the tier ones, tier twos, they have stated what they're going to pass by the next 3 or 4 or 5 years. I mean, it adds up to 60 million homes in the next 4 years. Every one of them is being watched by Wall Street. How are you doing? They have to
Right.
report on a quarterly basis. There's one company that's not having a problem with passing and hitting their milestones, and that's one of the ones we're helping. And so it's really satisfying to see that. I really think that that's going to start to turn in the next year or two because I think people are going to
Yeah,
have they'll be forced to look at different ways, you know, do things differently. Ask the dumb questions. Why are we doing this way?
sure.
And that's what you have to do. And especially if you want to be innovative, you really want to do the right things. You really have to question, how am I doing this? Can it be done better?
Well, what you've described is a transformational change within the industry, and especially, I think you had done an interview recently where your estimate was that in the next 5 years, that providers are going to pass more homes with fiber than had passed up till 2020. That is a
Yeah.
staggering
Yeah.
estimation. Talk about
Yeah,
that.
that's absolutely all the market research reports that I'm seeing are saying that and indicating that. And if you go and you add up the announcements that have been come out from AT&T, Verizon, Lumen, Frontier, TDS, Consolidated, Ziply, there's we can add up to 47 million just them. And if you look at the recent history, um, the amount of fiber homes passed, um, is the bulk of it in the last year or two has been not the larger companies. It's been the thousands of independent telcos, electric co-ops, municipalities, utilities. When you add that bucket up to the other, it's just staggering. What
It was staggering is the word I was thinking
what
about.
we're going to see though is as those larger companies build out their plans, it's going to require, as you mentioned, so much manpower. So you need to have the most efficient paths to get there. We have that.
with Without question. I think that I saw the CEO at Charter talk about the fact that they are nowhere near in a position to have enough trained staff to handle the demand that is out there, and they are not
Right.
alone. And it will be interesting to see how that all plays
Yep.
out. You are watching the Broadband Universe podcast. Our guest today, Kevin Morgan, the CMO with Clearfield and the Broadband Universe podcast, brought to you by Vitruvi, build faster, reduce costs, and improve quality. Also, Lit Communities, light up your community. You deserve better internet. Well, you talked earlier about the news with the acquisition of Nestor cables in Finland, but not the only announcement recently by Clearfield that is very exciting, I know, for you and the team there. An expansion of your facility to warehouse all of the products. I think 100,000 or 100,000 square
Yes,
feet. Am I
that's
correct on that?
exactly right, Craig. We've for a number of years, we've been preparing the company for this scale. We have recently entered in and established an additional 100,000 square foot of space in Brooklyn Park area, right near our headquarters, to be able to stage and warehouse the products that we have being shipped through to our customers. In addition to that, that's a follow-on development from an announcement we made just a little under a year ago. In July of last year, we announced that we were expanding the production square foot capacity in Mexico, going from basically 100,000 square feet to 300,000 square feet there. So the production square footage is ramped. We still maintain our production facility in Minnesota, but also now we have the additional. We basically doubled our U.S. footprint in terms of square footage by adding this additional 100,000 square feet in Brooklyn Park. So, yeah, we are excited about where the industry is taking us. We are riding along. We are supplying a lot of equipment to our customers, and it's a lot of fun right now.
Well, I know it has to be fun. It has to be exciting because we're entering that golden age, if you will, of opportunity within the industry, and it is going to be exciting to watch how that develops. Can't let you go without talking about one of the most important targets on the calendar each and every year, and that's Fiber Connect
Sure.
from the Fiber Broadband Association. And of course, you have for the last decade plus, I think a dozen years now, served on the board, and for the third time, serving as
Sure.
chairman of the board of directors. A huge thanks as a member of FBA
Sure.
myself. Thanks to you and what you have done. But talk about this year's event. I know that there's a lot of excitement. Of course, the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center, the site yet
Yes.
again of Fiber Connect, and the theme: if capacity is unlimited, the possibilities are
That's right.
limitless. And I think that sort of wraps it up real
That's
well.
right. That is a perfect intro. We were gearing up for one of the best, probably the largest attended broadband conference in the world this year. We're going to have well over 2,500 attendees, maybe a 3,000 attendees. We have a number of great speakers. The program is just phenomenal. When we look at who we have coming, the keynotes, we're announcing those very shortly, if not already today. Um, these are the movers and shakers in our industry that are leading the fiber deployments that are going on, as well as we even have the end users and their types of applications, Meta, TiVo, different ones that are going to be coming in and keynoting, talking about the impact of the fiber speeds on their applications and how this is all coming together. It's exciting. We just couldn't be better positioned right now. I think when we talk about the latest round of funding that came out, we had the notice of funding opportunity announced Friday last week. And the amount of money, we're talking about $42.45 billion for the last mile access, preferable for end-to-end fiber connectivity. These are the words from the NTIA. This is, as Blair Levin, which I read an article, he's formerly the FCC person who led the National Broadband Plan 10 years ago. He was quoted recently as saying that this is not a once in a generation opportunity. This is not a once in a lifetime. This is a once.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a one time thing. So we got to get this right. We got to get the fiber infrastructure built out right. The Fiber Connect conference is where you can go to learn from all of the players in the market. What are the best practices? What do we need to know? What's coming, and how can we do this the best way?
I am so excited. Cannot wait to get to Nashville to visit with everybody. It really is an energizing event, and can't thank you enough for the service that you have provided over the last 12 years to the FBA, serving on the board, and again for the third time as the chairman. Your time and effort is much appreciated.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
And we thank you for sharing what is going on, not only upcoming with Fiber Connect, but the exciting news from Clearfield. Would love to visit with you again down the road to see how the new acquisition is going, and the new expansion as well. Kevin, thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks so much, Craig.
Absolutely. See you
All
soon.
right.
On behalf of everyone here, thanks for letting us be a part of your day. We'll see you next time on the Broadband Universe. So long.